responsible for a face-to-face sales team of around about 40, and a telemarketing, is it the same here? Telemarketing team of around about 70, 74. And they were scripted. The telemarketers were scripted. So how can someone have performance up here, yet someone performance down there, when when it's enforced that they're saying exactly the same words? To me, made no sense. And as I was sales director of this company at the time, and I was bonused on their performance, I made sure I kind of found out. I took home 2,500 calls one weekend, and I listened to as many as I possibly can. And what transpired from that exercise was that I understood that if one voice tone was used, then within 30 seconds of hearing that call would be over. And it's the same with face-to-face meetings as well. Now, I'm quite lucky because my natural voice doesn't allow me to do this type of voice tone. But if I do start to use it now, you'll start to notice a difference in the way that I'm talking. And because I'm going up at the end of my sentences and my inflection goes up, suddenly the credibility of the material goes down. And my goes down. Can everyone hear what I'm talking about? That slight inflection at the end of the sentence. There's only two reasons why people go up at the end of their sentences. Now, I got this from the presentation company that teach Tony Blair. And the majority of the English or UK members of Parliament, I can't even think what they were called. Politicians, yeah. Cool. They are trained so much not to use upward voice tones because of the connotations that it has subconsciously. So, what are the reasons why people use upward voice tones? Questions? Questions? They're questions. At school we're taught that if we go up at the end of a sentence, then we're asking a question. So, consider this. Consider this. Deb, are we going to dinner tonight? Hey. Everyone hear how I said it? Are we going to dinner tonight? Now, if I use... She wasn't sure whether that was a genuine answer. She's like, oh no, please, not in front of everyone. Now, if I change my tone... So, the original was, are we going to dinner tonight? Secondly, Deb, are we going to dinner tonight? Does everyone hear the difference? Are we going to dinner tonight? There was so much uncertainty in the tone that I actually invited a response back. Notice when I said, are we going to dinner tonight? A command. I'm telling Deb that that's what we're doing. Don't worry, Deb, it's not real. Now, in face-to-face sales or on the telephone, or if you're just conversing with a client, and I'm going for that final close, and I'm not suggesting you're going to say this, but I'm just doing it as an example. Roberto, if you're 100% satisfied with everything we've gone through, then are we able to do business? Okay? Cool. Now, so I'm going to change that tone slightly. Roberto, so if you're 100% satisfied with everything we've gone through, are you happy to do business? Everyone, can you hear the massive difference between, so can we do business, towards, then can we do business? There's a hopefulness. There's a wanting you to respond. Now, if I'm going for a close or I'm asking for someone to part with their money, and I'm not going to accept people say, well, I'm not in sales. I'm not going to accept that people are in sales so you don't have to close. You do. You have to ask people to do business with you. I don't know what he's laughing at, but it kind of looks funny. Your tonality will determine the outcome of that question. So, it's in my back pocket. Two reasons why people use upward voice tones. Firstly, they're in a submissive position. Or, no, they're unfamiliar with the topic that they're talking about. Now, if you ever hear teenagers, particularly in England, I'm sure it's the same here, I've heard it on your TV programs, where you've got like a teenager, and then we went to California, and then we went to the beach, and he's just amazing. And he's got a six-pack, and then he took me for the best dinner ever, and I'm going up at the end of my sentences. Because why? Because I'm using enthusiasm and upward voice tones to try and generate this excitement so that you try and buy into it. In actual fact, you're doing nothing of the sort. You're thinking, Gary, will you please stop doing it because it's really, really frustrating? So it's a cover-up for unfamiliarity of the subject that they're talking about. Now, if you're projecting that onto your clients, what do they hear? I don't want to do business with that person. They don't actually know what they're talking about. However, what happens if you hear it when you've asked for the business of a client and the client comes back and says, well, actually, Gary, yeah, I really like what you've done, but we just want to think about it? Does that not give you a clue as to the type of objection they've just given you? BS, right? And that's the reason why I do this exercise, is because it's okay us getting it out of our tonality, but to hear it in others pays off hugely. And there is one other reason why people use upward voice tones. Flat out deceit. Now, if you're able to spot deceit coming back to you from a client on the phone or face to face, what would that tell you? Pardon? Yeah, stick in there. Definitely.